Iran nuclear negotiation continues.
Polish priest shows beheading video to high school class. I'm Hannah Schutzkis.
And I'm Hannah Wiegand, and this is your Public Eye News. Marquette Senior High School Athletics is partnering up with Waste Management. They will be selling red garbage bags to support their booster club, which will help pay for facility upgrades, scholarships, and equipment. The red bags cost $3 more than a regular city bag. The school hopes this can be a continuous project. You can purchase your red garbage bags at Walmart, Shopko, Super One Foods, and Econo Foods. Students in grades 3 through 8 across the area were able to compete in the annual event of the Reading Olympics, hosted at Kingsford High and Middle School. North Central took first place in the 3rd and 4th grade division. Iron Mountain won for 5th and 6th grade, and Norway took first place for the 7th and 8th grade division. Aaron Burnt, Reading Olympic coordinator at Norway, said, quote, "Their kids have put in countless hours and they've done an amazing job," end quote. The competition was a great way to end Reading Month.
The state of Michigan is working on appealing a decision that gives an air mattress to inmate Richard Boone II. Boone has plans that are caused by a history of leg and hip problems. A federal court overturned the decision to give him the mattress in November, and the appeals court said the Detroit federal judge didn't follow the correct procedure for an injunction. In February, the same judge held a hearing and approved the mattress. The Corrections Department is opposed to the decision, saying that other prisoners will start to expect a special mattress if Boone has one. And deaf inmates in Detroit are filing a lawsuit against the state of Michigan due to the lack of communication needs that goes behind bars, saying they've been denied the latest technology. The prisoners say the technology in the prison is decades old and makes it difficult to communicate with relatives. Other grievances include a lack of interpreters and hearing aids at the facility. The lawsuit was filed yesterday by a group designated by the state to protect the rights of the disabled. The Corrections Department has not issued a statement.
20-year-old Bria Corinne Janelle Blackman of Madison Heights has been charged with the murder of a man that she met on Craigslist. Her charges include felony murder, homicide murder, armed robbery, and illegal use of a financial transaction device. Michael Scott Freeland, 57, of Sterling Heights, was found dead in his home. Police believe he was killed after a fire. Blackman and Freeland started dating after meeting on Craigslist. Investigators are unclear if she started the fire, but are certain she is the cause of his death. Governor Scott Walker promised a big announcement on April Fool's Day that turned out to be unrelated to presidential politics. Walker told his fans on Twitter there would be a big announcement at 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Walker tweeted, quote, "America needs a big, bold leadership, and that's why I'm supporting Coach Ryan and the Badger MMB Saturday," end quote, adding a hashtag April Fools. And after the break, we'll have your national and international news. Stay tuned.
Let the amazing Annie Lennox put a spell on you. Georgia. With warm sounds of jazz, soul, and blues in the night.
So baby, talk to me.
Savor an intimate night of nostalgia live in concert with the sensational Annie Lennox. On Great Performances.
This Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome back. A Roman Catholic priest is under fire after showing his 10th grade class a video of Egyptian Christians being beheaded. The uncensored video, which was part of his lesson on Christian martyrdom during the Easter season, showed 21 beheadings that occurred in February by Islamic State militants. Some parents complained, though one student said he had given them the option of leaving the room. The school and church authorities reprimanded the priest for showing the disturbing images. German airline executives are refusing to answer questions about the medical history of the co-pilot suspected of purposely downing a jetliner in the French Alps. CBS's Tina Kraus has the latest on the investigation from London.
The chief executives of Lufthansa and Germanwings Airlines laid flowers at a monument dedicated to the victims of last week's plane crash in the French Alps.
And I think it will take a long, long time for everybody, all of us, to understand how this could happen.
The airline bosses thanked recovery teams who authorities say have now finished the grim task of collecting body parts. But the executives refused to say what the airline knew about the mental health of co-pilot Andreas Lubitz.
How somebody with psychological issues flies one of your planes.
The 27-year-old is suspected of purposely crashing the jetliner, killing himself and 149 others. Investigators say Lubitz had been treated for suicidal tendencies and hid his mental health problems from his employer. Lufthansa admitted it knew 6 years ago Lubitz suffered from an episode of severe depression before he finished his flight training, but said he had passed all medical checks since then. When Lubitz flew the plane into the French mountainside, it smashed into thousands of pieces. Investigators say it could take several more months to retrieve all the wreckage. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
United Nations chief says he has received reports that Boko Haram has murdered girls and women that they had taken as wives along with other captives. Zeid Rad al-Hussein told a special session in Geneva on Wednesday that the recaptures in northeastern Nigeria has, quote, brought to light gruesome scenes of mass graves and further evident signs of slaughter by Boko Haram, end quote. Al-Hussein called for a thorough and fully transparent investigation by authorities. Secretary of State John Kerry pushed past a Tuesday deadline and decided to go into overtime in talks with Iran about its nuclear program. Craig Boswell is at the White House with the latest on the negotiation.
U.S. negotiators say enough progress has been made to extend talks over Iran's nuclear program. The UK's top negotiator says discussions may continue another 24 to 48 hours.
But it does mean the Iranians being willing to meet us where there are still issues that we need to deal with.
The sticking points include how much nuclear fuel Iran will be allowed to produce in the future and how to verify that fuel is for peaceful purposes only. Negotiators also need to decide when economic sanctions are lifted. Secretary Kerry and Energy Secretary Ernie Moniz updated President Obama on the talks last night. President Obama insists the U.S. is prepared to walk away from the negotiations if Iran won't budge. He says no deal is better than a bad deal. Not everyone in Washington is convinced.
It's the president who's putting politics above America's best interest.
Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, who sent a letter to Iran threatening to rescind any deal once President Obama leaves office, is among a group of lawmakers who do not want sanctions against Iran lifted.
We should reimpose the sanctions that have been suspended. We should add additional sanctions, and we should drive a tougher bargain. We should not be negotiating from a position of weakness as we're doing right now.
Leaders from France, Russia, and China have left negotiations in Switzerland. Their delegations stayed behind to work out a framework for a possible deal. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
New research shows that Anne Frank, who was believed to have died of typhus in April of 1945, might have actually died earlier. The Red Cross has concluded that Anne and her sister probably died between March 1st and March 31st, but the exact date remains unknown. The new findings are based on eyewitness accounts and testimonies. One camp survivor who was friends with the sisters said, quote, "One day they simply weren't there anymore," end quote. Most testimonies reveal that Anne and her sister were already frail when they arrived at the camp Bergen-Belsen. This new finding dispels the notion that the Frank sisters were only days away from being rescued when they died. The world's oldest person died this morning almost a month after celebrating her 117th birthday. Misao Okawa died of a heart failure in her nursing home in Tokyo. Okawa lost her appetite about 10 days ago and stopped breathing as her grandson and nursing home officials attended. The 117-year-old was born in 1898 and was recognized as the world's oldest person by Guinness World Records in 2013. She had married her husband in 1919, and he passed away in 1931. Okawa is survived by her 4 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. And after the break, we'll have your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
Coming up this week on High School Bowl, make sure you join us for the Final Four, the semifinals. In our first match, the Escanaba Eskimos take on the Comeback Kids, the Bessemer Speed Boys. Hi, I'm Jim Koski, and then in the second half of our Final Four, the Hancock Bulldogs go up against the Ironwood Red Devils. That's the Final Four, the semifinals, this week on High School Bowl.
Welcome back. I'm Maddie Brinker here with your weather, and as you can see behind and through me, everything seems to be melting in the Academic Mall, and it's a little cloudy outside. Currently, as I just said, it's cloudy with a temperature of 42 and winds at the south at 13 miles per hour, and our barometric pressure is 29.95 inches and falling. Tonight we will have some rain showers with a low of 41 and winds from the south-southwest at 15 miles per hour. And tomorrow will be cloudy again with a high of 57 and winds from the west at 11 miles per hour. Looking around the UP, in Sault Ste. Marie it is 41 and sunny. In right here Manistee it is 34 and cloudy. In Escanaba is 37 and cloudy. In Menominee it is 37 and mostly cloudy. In Iron Mountain it is 46 and cloudy. In Ironwood it is 54 and mostly sunny. Up in Houghton it's 34 and cloudy, and back here in Marquette it is 42 and cloudy. Let's take a look at your weekend weather ahead. On Friday we will have a high of 31 and a low of 21, and it'll be partly cloudy. Saturday will also be partly cloudy with a high of 35 and a low of 20. And Sunday we can expect to see some snow with a high of 35 and a low of 22. So it's pretty cloudy in Marquette right now. I heard it's pretty cloudy for Justin Verlander and a bunch of Tigers fans.
Yeah, he might not be ready for opening day. Justin Verlander's debut for the 2015 season may be in jeopardy. He threw some pitches Wednesday morning, and his right tricep was still a little sore. When Tigers manager Brad Ausmus was asked about Verlander's chances of starting his first game of the season, he said, quote, "It's a little bit of a stretch right now, and I wouldn't wave it off." End quote. Verlander has not been placed on the disabled list before, but Ausmus says he'll consider whatever it takes to get rid of the soreness. In other Detroit news, the Detroit Pistons defeated the Atlanta Hawks Tuesday night despite playing without Greg Monroe. Andre Drummond led the Pistons with 22 points and 13 rebounds to beat the Hawks 105-95. Detroit was in a rough spot all night at the point guard position, with Jackson being under the weather and Dinwiddie spraining his ankle. The veterans' combined effort helped lift the 29-45 Pistons over the number one team in the conference. This win is their fifth in the last 6 games, and the Pistons are 6-2 in Monroe's absence. Chicago Blackhawks forward Patrick Kane practiced with this team for the first time since being injured. Kane injured his left shoulder against the Florida Panthers that put him out of action since February 24th. Kane still leads the Blackhawks in goals and points with 27 and 64 respectively. Despite not playing the past 15 games, Chicago sits in third place in the Central Division and are looking to qualify for the playoffs as the season is coming to a close. So Patrick Kane is getting out and playing, or moving. I hear some kids are being challenged to do the same.
Yep, the First Lady is trying to promote some exercise here in the States. First Lady Michelle Obama is challenging fans to create healthy lunch recipes in an effort to reduce childhood obesity. This comes as part of her Let's Move campaign, which promotes diet and exercise. Winners with the best recipe from each state will receive an invitation to a state dinner at the White House, and their dishes will be served at the event. And officials are tightening security during spring break. Bay County, Florida is banning drinking on parts of Panama City Beach. The change was made after a weekend shooting that injured 8 at a house party, and it will remain in effect through the 18th of this month. So what do you guys think? Do you have any interesting healthy recipes that could go on the challenge?
No, but I'd like to know some.
I definitely like some nice granola and some quinoa. And that's all we have, all the time we have for Public Eye News. We'll see you back here tomorrow, and happy April Fools.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.